This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
We've been trying our best to contain the situation, and in our operations, we've been able to make a lot of recoveries. We've been able to also recover, particularly arms and ammunition from those who are carrying it unlawfully and disturbing the peace of the people. But generally, our morale in the Nigerian police is always guided by our commitment to do what we have sworn to do. Peace and security must be looked into as a priority by all, to look at security as the business of all of us.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during, and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Friday with both man and God, to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Are still with us for today's conversation. Dr. Barak Hassani here in the Abuja studios, Charles Aniago via Zoom with us from Asaba, and Honorable Adebayo Shitu, former Minister of Communications and now Director General of the Asiwaju Tinubu Shettima Coalition for Good Governance. Charles Aniago, let's return to you very briefly. Well, happily, APC and PDP are now on set, but our general conversation has had to do with how to ameliorate the bickerings amongst political party members and leaders so that they can focus one on the key issues of running the parties effectively, so that if they can't manage themselves, questions will arise as to how they're able to then manage the polity much more effectively. Yesterday, when we had the first part of this conversation, I threw in, by way of analogy, the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein, where E equals to mc raised to power 2. And I said that part of the challenge that we face with the Fourth Republic in particular is the notion that success without a successor equals to failure. And this, therefore, for instance, at the subnational level, will drive a governor who probably rode into office on the basis of the strength of his predecessor to start building his own structures, and those structures would include taking charge of the governance of the political party within the state. He would ensure that the local councils are won and that local councillors and chairmen are loyal to him. House of Assembly members are also loyal to him, and handpick everybody. And persons are saying that this is the bane of internal party democracy in our country. And this is the endless haranguing that we continue to hear, why people defect, why people cause a great deal of trouble by shaking the table and so on and so forth. Is there a way, you've been in the system now for a while, at least working with politicians. Is there a way we can begin to take some steps back from this kind of almost zero-sum game that we have at the subnational level and also in some cases at the national level?
Well, thank you very much. But before I answer your question, I am happy that my elder brother, the former minister, joined. But of course, you can also know the difference between PDP and his own party. You told all of us to be here by 7:30 for this program. You saw that he came late. That tells you the difference between PDP and the other party. We are prepared to govern and make a difference and not to come late to programs. Secondly, we acknowledge that we had challenges in the party and we are dealing with it. He did not acknowledge that they have a problem until you pushed him, and the only thing he ended doing is to recognize that there are selfish persons in his party who are being hypocritical. In our own party, we don't have hypocrites. We only have persons who are raising issues and we're addressing those issues. Yes, Wike is a very great leader in our party. He has raised a number of issues, and our party is taking steps to address them. Now to your question, it's about leadership recruitment, and it takes time to be able to deal with those issues. Leadership recruitment speaks to the issue of service. Today, we have not been able to fully graduate as a country to where service becomes the main thing, and that is why we have seen a number of youths are taking cognizance of the issues being raised by our youths, the need for our government to work much more better for us, the need for our society to function much more effectively, the need for us to recognize that the government is for the sole purpose of providing security and the welfare of the people, as provided for in section 14 subsection 2 paragraph B of the 1999 constitution. Until you're able to do that, you begin to see individuals who are only just following the leader because of their pocket, and what our leader in PDP popularized when he said stomach infrastructure. Until you begin to reduce the effect of stomach infrastructure and emphasize more on the need to distribute resources effectively and equitably, and at the end of the day address the many challenges confronting the society. That way, the individuals will now begin to realize that you don't just need to follow the leader because you want him to feed you or to address the needs of your pocket, but rather the needs to add a value to the society. So I am hopeful that in the course of time, all those things will fall in place. Whether we like it or not, as a country, there are areas where we have made progress. As we speak today, our democracy is about slightest mistake by the politicians. What has happened in the last 7 years is nowhere compared to the kind of thing that happened in the past where the military came in. But in spite of this, they have realized that they should allow the Nigerian people to choose their leaders. That is some form of a development in our country, that those in authority, those in the military know that yes, they have their own rule, while the political class are free to play their politics. So we must recognize that we're making some progress. And what you're also seeing in some political parties, particularly the PDP, where even our Greek members are given the latitude to ventilate their grievances and still remain in the party, it's also a sign of democratic movement. Unlike before, when somebody gets agreed, like what you have seen happening, particularly the APC, you recall that some of their members have now moved into the PDP because they know that that is the party to belong. I can assure you, anybody in any other political party thinking that some of these are leaders that have become very attractive, you saw that they were very busy trying to woo Nyesom Wike because they know that he has performed under the platform of the PDP. And each time you see them coming to PDP to look for performers, why are they doing so? Because they recognize that PDP produces performers, and as a party, we are ready to rescue Nigeria from where they have placed us in the last 7 years.
Well spoken, thank you. But some of the points you raised are actually debatable in terms of what PDP has been able to achieve. We had PDP for 16 years, and of course, by 2015, everybody in this country was talking about removing the PDP. Now PDP is returning again with a new agenda. I hope Nigerians will appreciate one more time to be able to give you power.
But they all agree that it was a mistake.
Well, madam, 16 years is not 16 days, right? So I mean, that would have been enough time for a party to establish its capacity in governing this nation.
You can see what we did versus what is happening.
Let's not go to that, because what is happening today happened during the PDP 16 years era. Now? Let's not go to that. Okay. But the important thing this morning, is to ensure that you people organize yourselves properly, run the party properly, follow the due process, rule of law, and all of that. If you have agreements, abide by the agreement. These are things that bring all these ranklings. So we know ourselves. We are Nigerians. Yeah, right. I'm a journalist, but I also know politicians. I've met many of you. I've met you some couple of years ago. Now I'm meeting you again today. That shows that we are interested in what you are doing. Now, what is the role of the women when it comes to all of this? We are women leaders. And we know that when it comes to voting, women have that power, more than the men, if you ask me. Now, what is your role in terms of ameliorating the deplorable condition that we find in political parties in Nigeria? What should be the role of the women? And is your role even going to be effective or efficient to change the course of history of political parties in Nigeria?
Well, you need a visionary leader to be able to see ahead beyond what is happening now, to see the role women can play, to believe in their ability, and then to allow them be. And that is one of the reasons that I always tell, women that I meet, that one of the visionary leaders today we can trust is Atiku Abubakar. because he believes in our ability. He is one man that if you can do it, he will let you be. He will allow you to do. He will not look at your gender. For instance, he gave me one of the most sensitive positions. I was the director of delegates, management and mobilization for his campaign, both in 2018 and in 2022. It is a position ordinarily they will not give to a woman because they believe we cannot deliver. And that the whole contest rested on that office, because that is the office, the most sensitive office that can make or mar your primary elections. And because of that, he's one person that I can pinpoint to say he made a lot of women, you know, ascend the ladder of decision making, irrespective of their religion or tribe. Look at Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. It was Atiku Abubakar that propelled her, and we all know her to be the good woman that she is today. So any leader that can give us space to see what we can do. We went to school, we read, but we don't have the opportunity as men are given. Whatever position they are going to give us, some of them will just look at you and condemn you. She's a woman. Don't give a woman, it's too much. Give a man. This is a position that a man should occupy. When in countries we are having women presidents, women prime ministers, here in Nigeria we are still talking about some positions that women cannot, you know, occupy. But Atiku Abubakar is one man that can even make a woman the chief of staff. If he becomes when he becomes the president of Nigeria, that is what I know Nigerians will do. But to take care of party wrangling, I think he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. One of the reasons why we always have this kind of I am the leader, even when you are not the national chairman, is because we remove, you know, we take away ourselves from our duty and we allow other people do it for us. As party members, we're supposed to be paying our party dues. But how many people pay party dues? So there's a saying that he who pays the piper dictates the tune. We allow some people to come in and take away that from us. And obviously, if you pay, if you give in your money, you would want to decide or determine what happens to that thing that you are feeding your money. So as a caution, we must endeavor to pay our party dues. That is very important. Secondly, whenever there is a convention, because of this spirit of federal character and whatever, they will not allow for fair elections to take place. They will anoint. This one, you are the secretary. You look like the chairman. You are the chairman. You look like you are the legal advisor. Your face looks like the finance. Okay, you are the finance. Obviously, if you do not work towards getting to that position, you will not know the value. And when trouble comes, it is your organ that will decide. And they lay claims to the party. They believe they own the party because they fund it. But honestly speaking, my people say, my people say that if you have ojukokoro ice, that is when you know that that stew is smelling nice in that house. We say we are designing into a political party. For goodness sake, let us pay our dues. Secondly, like I told you, party supremacy is weakened by the presidential system of government because of the aspect of the rule of law, freedom, you know, the equality before the law. So anybody can take the party up to the Supreme Court and they can defy the party and nothing happens. We need to restore party discipline. Everything they say in the Constitution, the Constitution is on one side and what is happening is on the other. Why? Because we don't want to follow the simple rules, and in trying to be fair, to say we have equity, justice and fairness, we break the law, and obviously it will come back to haunt us. But I tell you, in advanced countries, you don't even want to know where your president comes from. You don't care if he's a Muslim or a Christian or he's Italian. But what you want is the visionary leadership that your country deserves. And that is what we need in Nigeria now. We need a visionary leader that will be able to give us back the strength of our money, give us back our dignity, give women a fair role, put us in the position that will be happy with our country. In the National Assembly now, we have poor representation of women, and even gender mainstreaming, the PWDs, the youths and the women, they are all in distress. I want a president that will listen. When we go for campaigns, the youth should come forward with what they think they need. For instance, recently Atiku Abubakar visited Kano. I told the youths, you cannot come and clap and tell him you are president. You must tell us what is the problem, and then we see how we can solve it. Then that's when you know you have presented something to your president. They came with a letter. In the letter, they said they want an electoral reform for the recall process, so that when we send members who are not representing us properly, we can call them back. They want a good functional curriculum, so that the university system will not turn out graduates that will come out and be waiting on the government to give them jobs. But you know, then we want a president that will make us get to the zenith of our career.
Dr. Baraka.
Honestly, in Nigeria, we don't want this wrangling. What we want is we should always be looking out at for this interest, so that it serves the group. When you are looking at the president, I say because he made one state to look like something good, he can make Nigeria. Can you compare Atiku and Tinubu?
No, when competition.
Tinubu helped Lagos, Atiku helped Nigeria. All the economic programs, Atiku ran them.
Madam, when it's time for campaign, we'll bring you back.
One of my friends something. Look,
we'll bring you back.
Trusted and trusted is Atiku.
We'll
We have problem in education.
Madam, we're going to bring you.
We have problem in manufacturing.
We are going to bring you back for this.
We have problem in peace. You know,
Madam,
conflict,
we are going to bring you back for this. Okay. For all of
Nigerians should decide, madam, what is good. What is good is Atiku.
Exactly. And when campaign starts, we begin to do that. Because we also know that Atiku was VP for 8 years.
And he did a lot.
Let's go. Okay, fine, I agreed.
Going by technology, it was Atiku that wiped away the loans that, you know, we couldn't pay. Over him, with I can name you.
That's what I'm saying. When the campaign starts, we'll bring you back for this. For all of this.
Dr. Baraka, thanks a lot for the points you have raised. One of the female presidents in the Nordic countries had an issue recently. She's one of the female presidents. He said she's been organizing too many parties and dancing when the country is in serious crisis. But that's just to divert attention from the heat. But let's go back to Honorable Adebayo Shitu. Honorable Adebayo Shitu, very briefly, we wish to respond to the issues that they have raised. Again, we are not campaigning, but on a more pointed note, how can we attenuate the infighting in the political parties? Because sometimes these things are just distractive. I know Dr. Baraka was saying it's a function of our presidential system. Look, some of us were already of age. We could vote, and I did vote during the Second Republic in 1979 and 1983. And when we had the Second Republic, we didn't have this intensity of squabbling as we're having now amongst politicians and the high monetary value being placed on offices. How can we reduce this and then focus on the real issues of good governance?
Well, thank you for the monologue session we have had from my sister. It's interesting that she took advantage of your liberalism, with due respect to you, to spawn, a monologue. Now, let me start by commenting on the statements of the last but one speaker. I don't know his name. I'm sorry. I think, with due respect to you, he was petty by going back to the fact that I came on board lately. I had apologized that for technical reasons I couldn't, fix myself into this program. So I think it is unnecessary for him to have, done that in order to gain, some mileage, perhaps, is in his thinking. That's number one. I am happy that Nigerians are very intelligent, Nigerians are dynamic, and Nigerians will not go back to the past rot imposed on this country by the PDP. The PDP was in government for 16 years. If they had done well, as people are thinking, Nigerians would have forgotten all the rot that they wrought on this country. The PDP era was the time when budgets would be made to fight Boko Haram, to buy arms and ammunition, and not a single kobo of that amount will be expended on its intended purpose. Instead of buying arms and ammunition, they simply put the money on the table and shite. Both the political class of that era, of the PDP era, and their military accomplices. Nigerians will not forget this. The PDP era was a time when $16 billion will be.
Well, it looks like former Minister of Communications, there is a freeze on your Zoom connection. We are pressed for time, but if you are back on, we'll just give you the opportunity to wrap up because we are pressed for time. We have to end 60-90 seconds. Well, it looks like there's still a freeze on the Zoom connection. Again, as we indicated, there will be an opportunity to return to some of these issues once we get a full-blown campaign. But our principal concern has been how to, as we said, attenuate infighting in the various political parties. On that note, we'd like to thank our three guests this morning who've been with us. First, Charles Aniago, who is one of the spokespersons of the PDP presidential candidate and also of the Executive Council in Delta State. He joined us via Zoom from Asaba. We also would like to appreciate Honorable Adebayo Shitu, former Minister of Communications, and DG, Tinubu Shetima Coalition for Good Governance. Here in the Abuja studios, Dr. Baraka Sani. She's a PDP stalwart and has been at some point Commissioner for Agriculture in Kano State, as well as Senior Special Assistant to President Goodluck Jonathan, also on agriculture. All right, so that's it for us this morning. We are able to, of course, get into our sports segment. Yesterday, Bayern Munich showed again why they are lords against Barcelona. 2-0, second half goals. Pretty good for them in the group stages so far. I'm Kingsley Osadele. Join us again tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Hello, I'm Kirian. Have a good day and see you again tomorrow.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Learn more.
24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, Star Sats on Channel 434, TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Imagine not having an antibiotic to treat your child's pneumonia, or enough insulin for your own diabetes. A nightmare for some, a reality for nearly 2 billion people with no access to medicines, causing a cascade of misery and suffering. Now imagine having a situation like
Growing up as a child, there is an admiration to want to be like
hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Our elders say, worries hurt and make a person waste more than sickness does. Do you doubt that? Put in modern terms, worries would lead to a lot of things. Things that do not need to be in the body. And even the doctors have come to say that worries, high anxiety and so on can lead to things like headaches, heart conditions, just to mention but a few. And if worries, anxiety were not properly treated, what next? They could lead to depression. They could lead to anxiety. And our elders from way back have already said these particular things that the doctors have come to know. And they have said, he who swims in worry drowns in sickness. You hear that? He who swims in worries drowns in sickness. But come on, am I saying that a lot of the things we worry about are not worth worrying about? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because all those things we worry about actually are very, very important things. We're talking about things like our health, maybe school fees, house rent, single people want to get married, the married ones, some of them want to leave their marriage, you name it. So you see, each person has a very, very legal ground to continue to worry about anything they've come to worry about. But there is a Hebrew proverb that says, anxiety breaks a man's backbone. Yes, it does. It makes the heart sick, makes you see things that do not even exist. And the Swedish people will tell you that worry gives a small thing a big shadow. And funny enough, I've come to realize something that Mark Twain said a very long time ago to be very correct, and I'll be quoting him right now. He said, I have had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. So you think about it, a lot of the things that we worry about, our elders have come to say, may never actually happen. But we have pressure everywhere. And so sometimes you find very young people dropping down, just dying like that. Basically, some of those things are triggered by anxiety. Is it worth it? Is it worth dying over? For our elders have come to say again, it is he who frowns that carries a tired, heavy face about. It is true. It is the wisdom of our elders to advise us that we should take it easy. We worry about material things. We want to make it. We want to blow. But remember, when it does happen, you're not going to sleep in more than one small corner in that house or one small corner on your bed. So think about it. For our elders have said, we can never carry the world out of the world when we die. So, our thought for the week. Let's make it a challenge. Think about everything you've worried about. If you can remember all of them, maybe pick one or two. Write them down. And also write by it how those matters eventually got resolved. And then add, Did the things you worry about those things actually happen? Think about it, my friend, because worry is like a war that is going on in the heart, in the mind. Now that we know that it kills, let us try. For our elders have said, the war a man has known something about cannot take the life of his child. Take care of yourselves, my friends. My name is Cordelia Obed.
Good morning. Nice to have you on the show, Conversation. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm smiling from chin to chin because we're going to be sharing secrets of longevity. And I know that a lot of people wonder at certain things about their lives, and the answers are sitting right in front of us. Do we know it? Do we even use it? I don't know. But I know that between me and every other person in the house, we've been, discussing about certain things about people, our parents, how our parents used to, do things for themselves, how our parents used to, some of them abuse their bodies by what they eat and what they do. And for those who did the right, they had good health and they had a longer life too. The show is a conversation, and not too long ago, a body in Nigeria and the whole world celebrated something. It is the Physiotherapist World's Physiotherapy Day. We are part of it because at the end of the day, mobility is what keeps us healthy, and sedentary life actually diminishes our life gradually. I'll tell you more about that after we have introduced our guests. I already introduced myself.
Okay, I'm Dr. Mbamal Chibike, Chairman, Nigerian Society of Physiotherapy, FCT chapter.
Okay.
Pleasure.
My name is Dr. Skela Yusuf. I'm a senior physiotherapist at the National Hospital, Abuja.
Okay.
I'm Aldridge Bennett Ilechuku, the head of Department of Physiotherapy, State House Clinic, Abuja.
Okay.
My name is Deva Hamati Mom. I'm a couch potato.
I was going to actually give you that title. Rule breaker.
I'm Dr. Viv and Dr. the other person and Dr. one thing or the other. There's no point. I'm just a couch potato.
Yeah, Dr. Rule breaker. All right, so I told you on Saturday actually, they had a little show to demonstrate what we must do to keep our bones healthy, and of course, possibly avoid medications rather than live on it. And two little boys, they were there. They captured the essence and told us the story. Let's see it. We'll glitch there, but once it's ready, we'll bring it to you. But I know that earlier on we talked about, exercises and how to keep our bodies tight with it. And within the week again, somebody told us that you may not need medicine that much if you really exercise, because exercise on its own is medicine. I don't know, is that true or not?
Fact, that's a fact. Exercise is medicine. Over the years, we've preached to the world that exercise is medicine. As physiotherapists, World Physiotherapy, we've been preaching that instead of, there are so many things you can avoid by not taking medication, just by simple exercises that can help to prevent different non-communicable diseases like arthritis, like stroke, different kinds of back pain, neck pain, So many things exercise can do. It's just that we hardly exercise. We hardly see it as medicine. So the earlier we take it as medicine, the better for us. We have to change our lifestyle.
We find that difficult. It's not in all cases that exercise sorts you out. And number one, you have to do it right. It has to be prescribed. Like I always tell you,
exercise too is prescribed.
Yes, of course. I mean,
they prescribe medicine.
Like taking the wrong medication. So, but there are illnesses, diseases that you actually require medication for. But exercise, like you have said, I really tend to go and chew in many of the conditions that we come down with.
Okay, as a result of stress. So some people, it helps to reduce stress. So I know that you have the happy hormones, which are the endorphins, being released.
You actually hit the nail, because this morning I woke up, I had a bit of I got up and tried a bit of stretching from what I learned on Saturday, did a bit of jumping jack, and I wasn't thinking about that headache up until now I mentioned it, because I noticed I don't have it anymore.
Yes.
All right, my couch potato.
Well, okay.
I know you're not an exercise freak.
I'm not. The thing is, weirdly enough, as a younger person, as a child, I really wanted to engage in sporting activities, which are a form of exercise, of course. Light sports, nothing too aggressive. Things like badminton and so on and so forth. It didn't happen. And then in school, somehow the culture never came to exist in my life. And I also grew up around parents who were very happy to sit down and watch TV or read a newspaper. It just wasn't their thing. Yeah. My dad was extremely intellectual, my mother was more the house chore. Okay, I'm done with the house chores, what I need to do now is rest. And things like that. So I didn't grow up with a culture of exercise. When I wanted to get involved in sporting activities, it was practically discouraged. And somewhere along the line I got very comfortable with not exerting myself intentionally. So yeah, I'll do house chores, I'll clean, I'll sweep, I'll dust, mop and everything. And once I've done that, I feel like I've earned my next 10 hours in front of the TV. and so it's not I won't lie, it's not my thing to do. When I hear that people do exercise and get endorphins and things like, when I have the misfortune of having to take a walk that lasts longer than 10 minutes, I feel as if I'm suffering. Oh, woe is me. Why did I find myself in this nasty position? I'm not even going to lie about it. I hate walks. I hate climbing the staircase or coming down it, as the case may be. My dream home is a flat, a 1-bedroom if possible, so that I can have very short walks. If it were possible, that chair that you sit in that takes you up the staircase that they keep for if we had it in the house, it would be my fantasy. I hate exerting myself at things like that. Now, I'm married to somebody who comes home and tells me, look at the phone, I made 10,000 steps this morning. I'm like, I'm happy for you. And he'll come and do it again in the evening. And he has done everything in his power to get me to take just one round of walks with it. I know it helps bonding and things. I'm happy to bond with him over gossiping, and things like that. So I married somebody who is the total opposite, and I'm trying to change. I'm working on my mental state, so that I can get to that place where I stop feeling as if I'm suffering when I'm doing exercise. I've never exercised and felt good afterwards. I feel out of breath. My spleen is giving me nonsense. I'm sweaty and of course smelling as a result. So you have to go and take a shower you're not ready for. It's not my thing.
Okay, so this is a complete apathy to the medicine that exercises bring. And let me take you back to your celebration this year. It's focused on osteoarthritis. And from her story, I keep imagining what it would be like when she's maybe 60, 70, and still maybe in front of a television set. But for starters, I'd like to know, why did you choose the osteoarthritis?
Okay, World Physiotherapy Body was actually formed on September 8, 1951. That's when they kind of come together, the communities of physiotherapists from in different countries came together and now form an alliance. In 1996, September 8, they now decided to kind of celebrate it, to use it to celebrate the Physiotherapy Day. So World Physiotherapy Day is celebrated every September 8, and every year the World Physiotherapy Body tries to find out a particular condition that is ravaging the world. So osteoarthritis is the leading cause of disability in the world. They decided that this year we need to kind of carry out the awareness campaign for people to know what osteoarthritis is all about, how it can be prevented, the risk factors involved, and as well how it can be managed, because prevention is actually better than cure. Osteoarthritis can be treated. It cannot be treated. It can be treated. You can only manage the symptoms.
What you mean is that it cannot be cured.
When somebody has osteoarthritis, the joints are affected. Okay, let me start with what arthritis is all about. Arthritis is an inflammation of the joint. It is derived from a Greek Latin word called arthron and itis, two Greek Latin words. Arthron means joint, itis means inflammation. So in English they put it together and called it arthritis. There are over 100 forms of arthritis in the world. Different types of arthritis, up to 100. Then on all of them we have there are about 5 to 6 basic, the ones that are very common. We have juvenile arthritis, we have lupus arthritis, otherwise known as systemic erythematous arthritis. Then we have another one called gout arthritis, we have another one called rheumatoid arthritis, we have osteoarthritis, which is the most common type of arthritis. So that's osteoarthritis. When you mean osteo, you are talking about bone. Then you are talking about arthritis
of the bone,
of the joints.
Okay.
That's because of arthritis, arthron, joints. Then itis, inflammation. So there is a cartilage called articular cartilage that actually kind of cushion the surface of the joint. We are talking about a joint. The joint is made up of 1 or 2 bones that actually come together. So each of the bone where they meet, there is an articular surface that is formed by a protein substance called collagen. So it cushions it and makes it to be like a rubber-like, and reduces the friction between on that joint.
So which is why you can easily
you can easily move your joint. So a situation whereby the articular surface is now becoming worn and torn. It can lead to several things. It can cause avulsion of maybe the tendon pulling out of the tendon that is actually attached from the muscles to the bone. Can cause it to pull out. It can affect even avulsion of the ligaments. The ligaments join bone to bone. So each joint, there is a ligament that attaches them. So if it is becoming very severe, it can cause that avulsion, pulling out. And that's notwithstanding, if it is mild cases, the articular surface can become rough. So once it becomes rough, it will cause the increase in friction. So thereby creating a grating sound or crackling sound called crepitus. You'll be hearing.
That's why when some people get up, we hear their knee will crack.
That's when it's due to arthritis. Crepitus, sometimes it can be air pockets.
Yes.
Like we crack our fingers, our neck. This one is arthritis.
This one is arthritis.
Okay. Cracking your finger or your neck is not arthritis. But if there's arthritis of the knee that is advanced, most likely may come down with crepitus. That was what he was explaining. So let's not get scared that when we crack our fingers.
At least this one I'm the one doing it. But that one is happening on its own.
On its own.
It needs to crack.
You know, once it has to be advanced stage.
You know, without I see myself in a classroom now, so I better make use of it very well. What in my lifestyle could cause degeneration to the point that I have osteoarthritis?
In your lifestyle?
Yes.
Well, if you are smoking, I want to talk about it.
Okay.
Well, in your lifestyle, I wouldn't know your lifestyle unless you tell me. But
like everybody.
When you say your lifestyle,
everybody.
Okay. Number one, it's look at the genetic factors. It can run in the family. So if somebody has a parent, a grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, brother or sister that has had osteoarthritis, chances are that the person may come down with it. We talk about weight. Obesity, because obesity increases the load on the joints. I remember that arthritis affects all the joints, but more especially weight-bearing joints: ankle, knee, hip, back, neck, and the rest of them. So,
but you know this you mentioned, you say hip. Nigerians, indeed, a lot of girls are doing a big job to get large hips. Yeah, but that would also would it give you weight on the hips and the
buttocks, not the hips.
Yeah, that's the weight. It's going to sit on your knee.
I wouldn't know how heavy the thing attached. But anything that makes you add weight, there's something called optimal weight for everybody when we do the BMI. Okay. So if you are above what you should, that means the joints are bearing more weight than usual. We talk about anatomical factors. When the joints are not aligned, because there's in physics we are taught that a weight ought to go in a straight line to be able to do the maximum job. So assuming somebody has a very bad case of bull leg, you can see that the weight is not going down the way it should. Okay, leg. Okay, so we also have a previous history of injury. Maybe somebody has had a joint injury in the past. It increases the chances, whether it was well treated or not, but it increases the chances. And we also talk about stress, repetitive motion. Some of the sports we do can predispose you to having osteoarthritis. So there are a whole lot of things.
Yeah, just to come in, one of the major one, aging. Aging, you can't rule it out. Everybody must age. And quite unfortunate, almost everybody must have arthritis.
Almost everyone?
Yes, but the symptoms might not manifest. When you go and take an MRI of your spine, you will notice some arthritis developing once you're up to 40 years. But it's not presenting with symptoms like pain, reduced flexibility, and the rest. So when we become worried, it's when the symptoms start manifesting. Then that's the time I don't know what's happening to me. You go for a checkup, you now find out, you have arthritis. So many people have it without knowing. You can go around your business without knowing, but once the symptoms start manifesting, that's when it will be done on you, what you're having is.
And that is why, in addition to that, arthritis has another name, degenerative joint disease, because as you're aging, there's degeneration coming in. So, but not everybody we present with, because apart from the pain, there's limited range of motion in the joint. You can't move. There's even functional impairment. What you used to do before easily, you cannot do. Some people get depressed because of the pain or the money you are spending on medication, or the time you are spending going to the hospital. And there are also increasing chances of falls, because when you have arthritis, the muscles sometimes get weaker. You lose balance and coordination, so the person may fall often. So these are some of the things we look out for. And he has mentioned inflammation. Somebody is wrong to touch, and that inflammation, what actually causes it? When arthritis is starting, the cartilage.
You say warm to touch. That means if I have it here, if I touch my knee, I'll actually feel some warmth.
In some people.
Oh, okay.
Warm to touch, because there are enzymes also and things, inflammation processes happening there, but it's not in everybody. Okay, and some people complain that when they sit for a long time, majority of people, they have pain when they want to get up, and in the mornings when the weather is cold. So these are some of the things we look out for to say that yes, this is osteoarthritis, or this is not. It could be some other thing.
Also on the risk, the type of food you eat, because you ask what are the lifestyle that can expose you to having osteoarthritis. People with advanced glycation end products, like if you're eating food like margarine,
butter,
margarine, mayonnaise, even corn.
Corn?
If you're eating it in excess.
Wow.
So those that, especially if you have a lineage history that there's osteoarthritis in your family, yeah. So you need to kind of mind what you eat. Very, very important. Red meats.
Red meat.
Processed meats. They are high inflammatory markers. They contain interleukin 6, homocysteine, and as well they contain there's one more that's usually C-reactive protein. So that will usually expose people. So if you know that in your lineage there is a history of such, there are some food you need to kind of try to avoid. Even high intake of salt, high intake of sugar,
like salt.
high intake of sugar can as well predispose you. So whenever you have, if you're already having it, you need to see your dietitian to plan your meals. Very, very important. And as well, if you're already having arthritis or you overweight, we professionals, we don't usually encourage people to be jogging because your weight is already too much for your weight bearing joints. So if you are now jogging, force of gravity is added to your weight.
Wow.
So instead of your weight bearing joints bearing 3/3 of your body weight, can bear 4/3 of your body weight because of the force of gravity added. So which will cause further wear and tear. So if somebody is overweight and you really want to slim down, we encourage you to do brisk walking. You first of all mind what you eat. So weight reduction starts from what you eat, when you eat it, the type of food you eat, and the quantity of food you eat.
Okay, I'm going to let Dorcas talk more on this, but I want to believe that the story of Larry and Kamsi is ready because they also have something to say about arthritis and their experiences. If it's ready, let's have it.
My name is Larry. I'm 14 years old. I live in Abuja with my parents. This Saturday, I came to Abuja to spend some time with my auntie, and that's where I met my friend Kamsi.
My name is Kamsi. I'm 13 years old, and I live in Abuja. My friend Lara and I went to the stadium with his auntie for sightseeing. There, we saw different people doing different things. And we joined a particular aerobics group. Luckily, they were just starting.
The coach was very nice. People had different exercise questions and they explained it with practicals. For example, how to start an exercise.
Somebody asked a question about particular exercise for those with arthritis, and I was interested because my grandfather, who is also my best friend, had it too.
Another person asked about exercise for people that sit for too long, and I was interested because my father is a film editor and can sit for hours working.
Light structure around your spinal area. That way, and count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then don't double up. That helps you go. so that I'm taking that leg up this way. Forward and forward. That way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're out.
My grandfather is the chief executive too, and he sits for too long.
I'll take this home so that I can teach my father.
Me too. I'll take it home and teach my grandfather so I can live long for me.
It was fun.
Alright, it was fun even watching from here, and I'm particularly happy because at the end of the day, Devon has found some exercises she can do. You were just showing that you could do.
I mean, like, it was a relief to see that, you know, you can just sit in a chair and lift your legs up and things like that, and it's still considered exercise. That's definitely something I could do, you know, stretching this way and this way.
You really don't want to leave the house.
Well, okay. There's this exercise we accidentally invented on my daughter's birthday. You know, we had inflated balloons and we, you know, tossed them back and forth, and it was great fun. You know, at the end of the day, there was music on, we're doing this back and forth thing. At the end of the day, everybody was out of breath. My heart was beating really fast. That's part of what you guys want to do during exercise, right?
Not necessarily. There are 4 types of exercises, 4 classes.
Okay.
So maybe you are thinking that exercise has to be aerobic, the one you sweat.
Yeah, that's my idea of exercise.
Well, that's just one part of it.
Okay.
We have an aerobic, the one you build muscles.
No, of course.
Okay.
I mean, like,
what about flexibility exercises?
I do need flexibility exercises. Like, I have a stiff shoulder.
Good.
A very stiff shoulder. In fact, a bad shoulder. It keeps me awake at night and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have balance and coordination exercise. So there are 4. So even if you don't want to do aerobic and aerobic, you can do flexibility exercises.
Which includes what?
You saw some now.
Like the leg.
Range of motion, he was moving, but when he was stretching down, and when he turned around, that's stretching. You see people stand up, stretch out. Even when after sitting for a long time, you get up and stretch and yawn. That's stretching.
Yeah.
You can stretch and
like, it happens almost naturally.
Yes. So which nature wants you to exercise. Just that you won't.
I didn't know things like that to exercise. You do that in the house, in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's flexibility and stretching exercise.
Okay, does dancing qualify?
Sure.
I can dance.
Let us say there's physical activity, there is exercise, with only one difference in between. Physical activity, anything you do that requires expenditure of energy, parts of your body. Okay,
like house chores.
Yeah, but can't that
no. Exercise is anything you do that involves expenditure of energy, movement of parts of the body, with a goal of health benefit attached,
and it must be planned.
Okay.
So when you attach goal of health benefit to physical activity, it becomes exercise,
and it must be routine.
Yes.
So if I sweep the house, I'm sweeping my house, and my target is to ensure that I lose weight.
Then okay. Yes. Let's delve into that a bit. A situation whereby you are sweeping the house, but sweeping is not your hobby. You hate sweeping.
Okay.
It is not an exercise. It's a stress for you.
Oh, okay.
It's a stress.
Yeah.
So people need to understand the difference. If you are sweeping and you enjoy it, in fact, you can tell your neighbor, please don't sweep, I'm coming to sweep for you. It becomes a necessary because you love it, because you plan it, because you're using it to target a health benefit for yourself. So you just have to kind of, exercises must be planned, it must be repetitive, and it must have a targeted health benefit. So if you're just doing it without any target health benefit and it's not planned, like you just came out and the dog starts pursuing you, it's not necessary, it's a stress. You're running for your life.
Okay. Let me take advantage of 3 physiotherapists sitting here. Like I said, I have a stiff shoulder. I won't go into the inner bits or whatever is going on. But I have a really bad shoulder, keeps me awake at night. What can I do to make it better?
What exercise?
Okay.
What exercises would you recommend?
So first, would as a physiotherapist would need to assess you, because there could be, different possibilities of what could be wrong with you.
Okay, it's osteoarthritis.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. So you've done physical examination, you've done
x-rays and all of that.
Beautiful. So usually first there is pain, so would advise that you seek the intervention of a physiotherapist. First, what we'll do is we'll assess you, find out the limitations that you have, and based on that we'll now plan a treatment. First we can do is relieve the pain that you're feeling. So we have various modalities that we could use to reduce that pain that you're experiencing. If you're in pain, you say it keeps you up at night, so I want to assume that it's because of pain.
Yeah.
So first we would have modalities that we would use to reduce the pain that you're currently in. After that, we would now give you exercises to increase your joint range of motion. The range of motion of the joints, to increase the strength of the muscles around that joint. Because when the muscles are strengthened, what it does is it better supports the shoulder joint. And with the shoulder, it's not a very deep joint. So basically the muscles around that joint help to support the shoulder. So once you are having osteoarthritis, most likely there would be weakness of the muscles around that shoulder, which will further increase your symptoms. So then would help to strengthen the muscles and then give you some activity and work out some of your activities to ensure that you don't have aggravation of your symptoms.
Will massaging help in taking care of that?
So we as physiotherapists, if I get $1 for every time, and when I introduce myself as a physiotherapist, people ask me, so when can I come for a massage? I'll probably be a millionaire probably in dollars now. So we do soft tissue mobilizations. So that's what we do. It's part of our treatment, but it's not 100% what we do. So when we have patients, if we feel after the assessments, if soft tissue mobilization is part of the things that a patient will benefit from, yes, we could do that to help to reduce the pain, improve blood circulation, blood supply to that area, which would also help to promote healing.
Generally, when a child falls down, or somebody falls down, the first thing we do, traditionally speaking, I don't know if it's right or wrong, is to get that person, sit you down, properly. Get to aboniki, not even rub. Aboniki, very harsh one. Put it, start with all the muscle. In fact, they will look for a guy whose hands are strong and tell you press it, press it well, so that the swell can go down. Is this the right thing to do?
Let's look at it this way. When there's a fall, chances are that inflammation process will take place, inflammatory processes, and part of the thing is to feel warm. The place will feel warm because of what is going on there. Now, Bonic is also a hot balm. It contains methyl salicylate and menthol plus other things. So for acute injuries, we try to keep the place calm.
So if you're using the
Abonic
is wrong.
No, or any acute injury, don't go for any. Some people use hot water to
What is an acute injury? What is an acute injury, first of all?
An acute injury is an injury that is few days or few weeks. It would just happen from few seconds to few weeks.
What about intensity? How grave does it need to be called an acute?
It's just duration.
It's just acute.
So between the time it happens and a few days,
few weeks.
So we're not supposed to use the band.
No. Keep away. Even that hot water, they say massage it. If you watch sports, football especially, you see them spray something. It's cold. There's a cold spray, there's a hot spray. When you go for cold, you see them put ice packs. In physiotherapy,
ice pack is for white people now. Our own is hot water and
You can use ice packs at home.
Well, we use ice packs.
Which light?
You get a cold spray. You don't need to refrigerate a cold spray. Okay? So that's what we do. So keep away from something hot because you're just going to intensify the pain. But what about the mental feeling you're having because of the aboniki you are applied? But ideally, acute injuries go for something cold. We call it cryotherapy.
There is a cream they use. It's called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory cream, analgesic cream. So if you're using
analgesic creams work. Like I feel like it's not going inside your
tongue. Is it because of your arthritis?
No, not really.
Just for sporting for
just generally I avoid them because I'm like, how on earth is something going to pass through my skin and eat?
It's not explainable.
It's very painful. It has pores.
Maybe it's because after taking a bath we don't come out soaked. Yeah. That's why nobody really believes that something passes through your skin and goes and does anything.
Those things are the way they are manufactured. Ingredients that are put inside are made to be able to seep through the skin, pass through. There's not water that
no. Exactly, because in that case, if you went for a swim,
yes, by now you'll be like
when you come out, you should be able to do this.
No.
So I'm sorry, I probably sound like a stark illiterate, but what you said now just made sense, that there's stuff inside there that's meant to pass through the skin and enter you and go and do
How does cold enter your body?
Cold. That's the weather. You know, that's the
weather. If you put it under the microscope, even looking at.
Well, I mean, evidently, but like I said, until you explain that
let me play you. If you take a cream in your hand, just keep rubbing it.
After a while, it disappears.
Where does it go
you
to?
Dried up. That's what we. I hope I'm speaking for everything. Like what I did dried up. It didn't enter inside.
Once the body, if you studied physics.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Anything cold is being applied on, there is contraction. Anything is being applied on, there is expansion. When you are rubbing the skin, you are causing a mechanical motion. That mechanical motion can cause a form of heat energy, thereby helping to open up the spores. That's why anytime you are feeling cold, you use hot water to bath. You might feel more cold. If the rain is up, yes, it opens up your spores, your pores. Then there will be more. But if you use cold water to bath, just that time you pour that cold water, you feel it, then you stop feeling it anymore. Because your pores will close up.
Oh, your body gets used to it. I'm sorry, I'm just playing.
So once you are rubbing, the mechanical motion will convert to heat energy, opening your pores a bit, and the cream will go inside. It disappears.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are poisonous substances that can get into the skin.
Yes.
There are poisons that once they pour on you.
I've heard the Russians and the Chinese.
Oh, come on, there has to be natural things.
Ebola. Why is it a contagious?
Well, I thought it's because because we're always using our hands. Take stuff to your mouth and everything. You don't really think about.
I'm not talking about COVID-19. I'm talking about Ebola.
No, generally.
Once you touch the person.
Oh, that was it with Ebola. Oh,
okay. So let's before we go into public health now, I want to go back to my own and healthy living, because before we know it, we're already 30, we're already 40, we're 60, and like you said, it keeps degenerating. Somebody's asking me a question. He says, how do I begin and when do I begin to exercise to ensure that we do not have this problem? Because my mother has arthritis, I guess.
Okay, when do
I begin to watch it?
Now.
How do you know? I wish you wrote your age. I'm not.
If you've not started already, the next best time.
Yes, it's now.
Okay.
So, because he or she ought to have started since yesterday, and she didn't start yesterday. So the best time to start exercising is now. Many people usually say, "I don't have time to exercise. I'm too busy." The truth is that when those non-communicable diseases come to your table, you have time. Prevention is better than cure. Something like, let's use stroke as an example. I usually advise people, open a stroke account if you don't want to do the things that can help you to prevent it.
What do you mean by stroke account?
You're putting money away.
You're saving money.
Yeah.
So it's you're not doing things to prevent you from getting there.
Something like now, if we carry out just small survey here, if I ask you, is anybody in your family, is anybody in your family that has had stroke in your family? If you say no, fantastic. Are you up to 40 years?
No.
You're not. Fantastic. Are you exercising 5 times a week?
I do 7 days.
7 days. Fantastic. Is there anything that makes you to do you eat healthy very well, making sure that all the things you eat don't predispose you to those factors?
90%.
90%. Then you do know that you still get up to 40 years.
Oh, definitely. Every year I go to
these are risk factors of stroke. So this will make you to know that you need to be exercising. You don't need anybody to remind you. For osteoarthritis, which we are talking about today, prevention is better than cure, because once you have osteoarthritis, you can't cure it. You can only manage the symptoms. If the arthritis has developed to the highest degree, thereby even making your joints, your to have K-leg or bow leg, as the case may be, there's no way you can cure it. Except if you go at the time, you can now go for surgery, which surgery does not cure it. And do you know how much they used to go for knee replacement now? Okay. So if you go to most hospitals, that's no less than 2 million. So they pay you 4 million, 5 million, 8 million as the case may be.
And does it work completely?
It can help to solve your problem now.
But that does not help other joints.
It does not help other joints.
You're going to go for one joint and do the knee replacement, let's say total knee replacement. What about the other joint? Because you're still living the lifestyle that made this one go down. So which means the other joint can as well go down.
So the person should start exercising.
Right.
And the person, the person should see a physiotherapist or a certified fitness professional that can design the exercise regimen that will not predispose the person to having osteoarthritis.
Okay, I want Dorcas to take this, because this question is coming from a woman. It says, my name is Mrs. Mudashiru. I have a boy of 1 year, 5 months, but he tiptoes. What exercise can I do for him? Is it not normal?
1 year, 5 months.
Works with his toes.
Works with his toes.
Is it
so for this, it's not something we can handle over the TV. But I would suggest that first, what she should do is she should go to the hospital and see a physiotherapist. Okay. What we'll do is we'll assess that child, and then we'll find out if the child is just habitually tiptoeing, or if there is an underlying condition, because for some children there could be an underlying condition. So basically we would have to assess that child. We'll see if the child is attaining his milestones as at when due and other things, to rule out any neurological conditions, and then we can now find a way to help.
I'll still be on you because you're a woman, and being a woman, you're also predisposed with some other things. Somebody earlier on sent us a question. It says, what has arthritis got to do with menopause?
Okay, so when during menopause, there are a lot of hormonal changes that happen. But then one of the things with arthritis too is that women are more predisposed. So if you're a woman, you're at a higher risk of having arthritis as compared to
why women?
So I think for one of the reasons could be as a woman, you go through the process of pregnancy, you give birth. A lot of women, when you look at them before they get married, and then years down the line, you can see there is weight gain and all of that. So that could be one of the reasons too. So
some high heel shoes too.
Our high heel shoes could contribute, but then weight gain is as well, as we learnt earlier, being obese or overweight could be one of the reasons. And a lot of women, I think that's one of the greatest things we suffer from. A lot of women, after they give birth, even during the period of pregnancy, the weight gain is, some women add as high as 20-30 kg, which is putting a lot of weight on those joints. So that could be one of the reasons why women are more predisposed to having osteoarthritis?
Okay, now you talked about putting on weight in pregnancy, and that's like being on the joint as well. I knew that when I was going through the same stage, if I tried to exercise, I was always put to a halt. Are there safe exercises for pregnant women?
Yes, there are. But everybody should exercise regardless of the age. But what type of exercise that the person does also matters. Now, some people go and do high impact exercises like jogging, like running. Do you know that swimming is one of the best forms of exercise if you're not afraid of water?
Somebody like me that is a stone. Once I enter straight, I'm going inside.
They are very different of the pool. Go to the shallow end where the water buoyancy can help you, because you can exercise more in water because of the buoyancy. And if the water is warm, it's soothing. And I also encourage people to stretch, warm up. You don't get to your car in the morning. Once you start it, you start rolling the engine and start firing. It won't last as long as it should. So you warm up, then exercise, and gradually calm down. So don't stop it at an abrupt point. So for everybody that requires exercise, there's a warm-up stage, there's an actual exercise stage, there's a cool down.
So the warm-up and the cool down, it's for the bones as well?
For the music, for the whole system. Okay. For the whole system. So, and you know, like she was saying about this weight gain, some women add, let's say, 20 kg, and maybe after the first child, maybe you manage to lose 5 or 10. There are still 10, and the second pregnancy happens. You add additional, maybe lose some, and other ones. And about women being predisposed, there's an age range. Let's say under 50, men are more active. So if you do a census statistics, you see that more men below 50 probably have osteoarthritis. But women above 50 now take over because of menopause, weight gain, and so many things.
So when women take over, the men that with their own going.
No. What I mean is that when you count, do a census, you find more men under 50 having osteoarthritis than women. Then above 50, find more women having osteoarthritis than men.
So also osteoarthritis in women are more severe than that of the men.
Okay, so like we haven't really been playing with our friends out there. Let's see if we can catch up on that. Good morning, doctor. I enjoy your program. Good morning, sirs and Mars. I have a hip fracture sometime in November 2021. I was afraid of surgery, so I went for bone stretcher. I can walk slowly, but my hip is not firmly joined and it springs when moving. What will I do? Sunday from Lokoja. I don't have much time, but I think traditional bone setters.
I wish the person had also mentioned his age, because
the person is actually at risk of having osteoarthritis. Like when we said, when if somebody has had previous untreated or well-treated injury, it predisposes the person to having osteoarthritis.
But basically, does it still have hope? I mean, if it goes to a specialist,
he needs to see a specialist.
Okay.
Can see a physiotherapist or orthopedic doctor. Then they will carry out the scan and know what actually happened there and find out the possible solutions.
Okay.
So if
she's not fully healed. She still has pain.
Yes.
He still has pain. He doesn't work as he should. So that means he doesn't have the optimal life. And our job is to bring you back to your optimal stage. So I believe this person needs to see an orthopedic surgeon and also a physiotherapy.
All right, let's see if we can take one more. My director's really on my neck. I fell down from up when fixing my cutting, and this is since last year June. So I had a sprained ankle. Then I did all I could to get the pains off. I'm just trying to wear heel shoes. What cream can I use, or what exactly? That's Jumoke. When I saw here, I knew it was a babe. Okay, so Jumoke, they will talk to you in a chief, but let's see what else I can do. I'm 48 years and I'm having arthritis. How can I handle it? If you've been listening to us, I'm sure you've picked up a whole lot. What type of exercise can one do to help back pain? We just have 1 minute to go. Maybe doctors, you can help us in that.
Okay. So for the back pain question, okay, low back pain is also one of the common conditions we see in the department of physiotherapy. So for back pain, generally exercises, physical activity has been shown to help patients with low back pain. So exercises like brisk walking, not any high impact exercise, brisk walking, swimming, can help patients with low back pain. And would also advise the patient to come to see a physiotherapist, because as I said, for a lot of conditions we need to carry out an assessment to know exactly what the problem is, so we know whether to prescribe the exact type of exercise to prescribe for the patients, because exercises are not just general but then individualized based on the presenting complaint of the patient.
All right, thank you so much, and I'm very happy that Devan is here and Devan is going to see a physiotherapist, because I need you to take the oath that you're going to start exercising today just before we go.
Yeah, well, I don't take pride in not exercising. I just need to admit that that is my reality. I want to start exercising. I encourage everybody to do so. Pick something that works for you. If you can talk to a doctor first before doing it, all the better. I would have so loved for the doctors to tell us what to eat rather than what to avoid.
Don't worry, we're going to we're going to do that, and the show is still available for you if you missed out from the beginning. All the education, all the lecture on our YouTube channel. Go to NTA series, and there you get to find out what you missed out. Until then, I remain Elizabeth, and with a lovely house. Bye bye.
Hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's stay together. Let's not fight in each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter.
Hello, welcome to the News at 10 on NTA News 24. We're live here in Abuja, the Nigeria's capital city. I am Muspa and we'll have the news. Let's see the headlines.
The federal government will continue to support the government of Imo State to ensure that it continues to provide the dividends of democracy to the people.
President Buhari commends Governor Uzodima's infrastructural strides, inaugurates major projects in Imo State. US pledges support to Nigeria towards achieving Climate Action Plan for Sustainability.
That's the privilege, and as well as also providing clean energy, accessible clean energy to homes. Actually, a lot of us
Migrant smuggling from Nigeria to Europe reduced drastically in recent years, UNODC finds. Security operatives neutralized bandits, rescue 10 kidnapped victims in Chikun and Igabi local government areas of Kaduna State. Thanks a lot for staying tuned into the news. 2 more strategic roads infrastructure projects executed by the Hope Uzodinma administration as part of its rehabilitation, reconstruction and recovery agenda in Imo State have been inaugurated. Also inaugurated is the modernized State Assembly Complex to provide a conducive environment for lawmaking to enhance good governance and effective service delivery. President Muhammad Buhari, who performed the ceremonies, described the state government's infrastructural revolution drive as worthy of emulation and support. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the report.
This is the second time in 12 months President Muhammadu Buhari will be visiting the Eastern Heartland since Governor Hope Uzodinma came to power about 3 years ago. Just like the first visit, the president is here to once again inaugurate landmark sundry projects executed by the state government, and the reception accorded him was befitting. Among the roads infrastructure projects inaugurated include the 36-kilometer dual carriage Oweri-Olu Road and the first phase of the 56-kilometer Oweri-Okigbe Road as part of deliberate efforts at enhancing the local economy. President Muhammadu Buhari also declared open the Imo State Assembly Complex, rebuilt, furnished and fully equipped with state-of-the-art facilities for effective lawmaking by the legislature as bastion of democracy. Speaking at a reception held in his honor, President Muhammadu Buhari described as pleasing that Governor Hope Uzodinma has keyed into his administration's infrastructural revolution enterprise, especially in fixing critical roads neglected by previous administrations.
It took the sheer determination and the courage of the current government to fix these roads. So I say bravo to the governor of Imo State. This proves that when leaders are dedicated and focused, much can be achieved for our people. On our part, the federal government will continue to support the government of Imo State to ensure that it continues to provide the dividends of democracy to the people.
The federal government, he said, is determined to drive the economic development of Nigeria through the provision of vital infrastructure, and evidence abound in critical sectors of the nation's economy.
I'm therefore happy to see that the APC administration of Governor Uzodinma is doing similar improvement here in Imo State. I thank the people of Imo State for supporting your governor. I urge you to continue to do so to enable this administration, which he leads, concentrate on the task of good governance.
Governor Hope Uzodinma, who appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for his magnanimous disposition to the Eastern Heartland, assured him that politically motivated security threats notwithstanding, he is determined to leave Imo State far better than he met it.
We pride ourselves as apostles of road revolution because in less than 3 years since I took over as the governor, this administration has done more than 105 roads across the 27 local governments of the state. Under our prosperity agenda, We intend to connect all communities in the state with measurable rules before the end of our first term. In the pursuit of this goal, we have remained steadfast, we have remained tenacious, and we have remained resilient.
Both the governor and the President General of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Professor George Obiezo, said the southeast zone of Nigeria cannot thank President Buhari enough for giving Ndigbo better sense of belonging.
Since the end of the Civil War, it is under administration that federal government will do one project at a cost in excess of 360 billion naira. It has never done by any government before 2015. Today, the second River Niger Bridge is almost completed, awaiting commissioning. Our people are committed to the Nigeria project. We desire a country that provides the platform and opportunities to contribute our utmost best to the growth of our fatherland.
Prominent Igbo leaders from across the zone, as well as Deputy Senate President and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, were present in solidarity. President Buhari has since returned to Abuja. Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And in Abuja, the U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, Jim Kerry, has assured Nigeria of assistance towards achieving the Climate Action Plan for Sustainability. This was during signing of the Clean Energy Demand Initiative, SEDI, by the Minister of Environment, Mohammed Hassan Abdullahi. Haman Jabani reports that an initial $200 million has been committed to the startup.
The Green Energy Demand Initiative allows companies and countries to make decisions to implement the buying or the production of green products and accelerate the marketplace creation and transit faster to a clean energy economy in order to deal with the climate crisis. It is geared towards ensuring renewable energy, promote economic growth, and protect the environment. Nigeria signed the agreement to participate in the Green Energy Demand Initiative to ensure sustainability, affordable, and reliable energy supplies, which are also prerequisites for abolishing extreme poverty. The U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate says SEDI is going to take billions of dollars and even trillions of private investment and bring major amounts of capital to the table with technology to help Nigeria move faster to the clean energy economy, which is the future, and all of the citizens of Nigeria will benefit from cleaner air and jobs that will come with the transition.
Clean Energy Demand Initiative is a very important effort to try to send a signal to the marketplace and to bring your businesses to the table, your private sector businesses, to be able to help excite the creation of green marketplace.
And there is no obvious to that how we can transfer clean energy, and as well as also providing accessible energy, accessible clean energy to folks. Actually, a lot of us in the country.
The initiative is expected to reduce poverty, stimulate economic growth, and reduce pollution, while strengthening the availability of clean, reliable, and affordable energy and energy production. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Elsewhere, African countries at the Ministerial Conference on Environment are resolved to pursue funds for adaptation financing from developed countries as a major target for COP27 in Egypt. Onengie Fineface reports.
It is common knowledge that although Africa contributes the least to climate change, the region is most impacted by its effects. Preparatory to the 27th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in Egypt, African delegates are projecting adaptation financing as a central theme for negotiations.
To gather our own project, adaptation project, and also to share it with all the international communities to have some opportunities, to have some finance resources in order to implement the adaptation project.
The logic for them is simple. Let those whose economic development resulted in the changing climate fund the adaptation needs of Africa, which is suffering the impact of the change.
in order to save lives, in order to save livelihood, in order to save also our ecosystem. So funding is important, money is important, and then we have to make sure that those who create the problem will provide enough resources to tackle it.
Developed countries had pledged a $100 billion support for adaptation in Africa every year, but that is yet to be fulfilled. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
More opportunities are now available for Nigerian students aspiring to study in the United States of America. Correspondent Usman Ali reports that a recent education fair by the U.S. mission in Nigeria is set to showcase choices of the U.S.-based universities to eligible students.
Kasisa Obidi is a final year secondary school student. His dream is to study in the University of Maryland, United States. Not only that, he wants to contribute in the building of his fatherland. Dream come true for him and many others with this education fair.
Now they've granted us this open gateway which allows us to be able to study in USA, and it actually promotes more international relationship, because I've always wanted to know people from abroad, outside the country, and now I'm getting the chance to do it and also be able to study abroad.
A very good opportunity for me to study abroad, because it has always been my dream to study abroad.
Nigerian students on our campus, having Nigerian students as part of our community really enriches our community, makes us stronger, makes our community of inquiring minds that much better by their very presence.
The U.S. mission in Nigeria says though the global pandemic denied this kind of engagement for 2 years, but it is impressed with the turnout and interest exhibited.
And they want you to succeed. They want you to come back and make a difference in this country.
The program is a 3-day consultation, after which aspiring students can continue the conversation online. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
To other matters, migrants smuggling from Nigeria to Europe has reduced drastically in recent years, with Nigerians accounting for less than 2,000 of the nearly 150,000 people who arrived in Europe illegally in 2021. That's according to the findings of the United Nations Office of Drugs and Crimes, UNODC. Victor Hazu reports that this was part of a report recently presented to the Nigeria Immigration Service in Abuja.
Smuggling of migrants is considered a global problem, with masterminds taking advantage of poverty, lack of employment, and other vulnerabilities. Some Nigerian victims of smuggling recount being harassed and abused, while others fall into forced labor, among other misfortunes. A recent report of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, presented to the Nigeria Immigration Service, however, shows that in recent years, the crime has been significantly reduced, with the global agency pledging further support.
UNODC is continuing its support to all initiatives that seek to stem migrant smuggling from, through, and to Nigeria, as well as to protect those falling victims to abuses and exploitation by smugglers and other actors who take advantage of the specific vulnerabilities of smuggling and migrants.
It's a development that delights principal actors in the migration sector, including the Nigeria Immigration Service, as others look towards implementation of the report.
We are going to study it, we are going to implement it, and we are going to work on it.
We hope that this observatory project, virtual information, will go to sensitize and make the community and the society aware that there is no gain in these smuggling.
Observers are hoping that diligent implementation of the report will sustain gains of the last few years. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
This is the News at 10 on NTA News 24. Ahead in the news. Kenya presidential election, Vice President Osinbajo commends electoral body and judiciary. Details in the moment. Stay with us. Thanks a lot for sticking around. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo says the inauguration of William Ruto as Kenya's fifth president is a celebration of democracy and democratic institutions in Africa. Speaking on the significance of the President Ruto's inauguration, which took place at the MOI International Sports Stadium in Nairobi, Kenya, the Vice President commended the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and the judiciary for ensuring that not only were processes properly followed, but also that justice was done. The Vice President said it was a great example pleasing to all of the African heads of states and governments as well as their representatives.
Justice was done, so I think that it's whenever we talk about the celebration of democracy, we're really talking about the celebration of our institutions that undergird democracy and the rule of law. I think that what we've seen here in Kenya with the swearing in of Dr. William Ruto is really evidence of robust institutions doing what they ought to do. So I think it's a great example.
The ceremony was attended by 20 African heads of state and governments and representatives. Talking security, in the meantime, the Nigerian army says it is working towards a secure environment during the forthcoming 2023 general elections. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, hinted at the third quarter Chief of Army Staff conference holding in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Various security challenges truncating socio-economic activities in different parts of the country. To stem these threats, Army principal officers, commanders and heads of formations assembled to appraise its activities and to strategize to enhance ongoing operations.
The troops deployed in the South-South region under Operation Delta C have continued to perform creditably with the regimented joint operations leading to the arrests of several suspects and their sponsors. Our offensive operations in the Northwest and North Central regions have also been intensified. Troops, in conjunction with Nigerian Air Force, have continued to neutralize bandits and destroy their hideouts.
Preparatory to 2023 general elections, the Nigerian Army has reviewed its rules of engagement and code of conduct for its personnel on election security.
We have reviewed that document, taking into cognizance recent happenings and what should be done and judging from our past experiences.
The Army acknowledged support from other services and security agencies. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The federal government has inaugurated an 11-member Railway Security Committee, while its Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transportation, Magdalene Hajani, said the committee is expected to develop a comprehensive report on the incidents of March 28, 2022 and October 20, 2021 and make recommendations to prevent future occurrences. The committee is responsible for providing concrete measures to safeguard passengers and railway infrastructure across the country. Members of the committee are drawn from the Ministry of Transportation, civil society organizations, the Defense Headquarters, the Nigerian Army, and the Nigerian Air Force. The committee is chaired by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transportation, Magdalene Hajani. And troops of Operation Forest Sanity have neutralized several bandits and dislodged camps during clearance operations conducted across some hard-to-reach locations in Chikun and Igabi local government areas of Kaduna State. A statement by Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Anwan, indicates that troops rescued 10 kidnapped persons who were chained and bound with ropes. The troops who came under further attack in the thick forest successfully evacuated the hostages to a military facility where they are receiving medical attention before being reunited with their families. Governor Nasir El-Rufai commended the troops for the relentless spirit displayed in the ongoing operations and encouraged them to sustain their efforts. Meanwhile, the Northern Governors Forum has met with the Northern Traditional Rulers Council in Abuja and arrived at a resolution calling for the establishment of state police to tackle security challenges in the region and indeed the nation at large. Presenting the communique after the meeting held at the Transcorp Hilton, Abuja, Chairman of the forum and Governor of Plateau State Simon Lalong says the meeting reviewed the security situation in the north and other matters relating to its developments and resolved to support the amendment of the constitution to accommodate the establishment of state police. The forum also reiterated its commitment to the development of solar energy in view of comparative advantage of abundant sunshine in the region. The joint meeting also notes that with regret the ongoing ASU strike, which it believes has greater effect on the region as most of the students in the north are attending public universities. It therefore calls on ASU to cooperate with the federal government in resolving the dispute. The northern governors also engaged officials of the World Bank to discuss the level of implementations of the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment and Nigeria for Women projects, which are being implemented in 5 northern states. Now to business. African ministers of finance, economy and the environment meet in Egypt to turn pledges to implementation for blue wars, green bonds and debts for nature in Africa. We join Alika Panachi Arwa on Business News.
With COP27 less than 2 months away, Sameh Shoukry, the Egyptian Minister of Foreign Affairs and COP27 President-designate, said financing for climate action in Africa had not been forthcoming despite the pledges. To this end, the ministers have gathered in Cairo, Egypt, to address a number of pressing issues, including the need to increase private sector finance, reducing the cost of green finance, debt for climate swaps, and investing in sustainable infrastructure. Meanwhile, the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development has so far committed a total of about $450 million into the economy of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire to finance projects in various areas such as infrastructure, health, industry and agriculture. The president of the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development disclosed this at a signing ceremony for 2 loan agreements totaling $67.12 billion in Abidjan. The president of the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development said the 2 loans are for financing of projects to upgrade operating theaters, neonatal units and imaging services in referral hospitals, and to fund the industrial component of the agro-industrial road project in the north region of the country. Now let's take a look at Tuesday tradings on the floor of the exchange. With business news, Alika Okmanachi Arwa.
In the news at 10 on NTA, News 24 still to come. Solution in sight for fuel and water projects in Nigeria. Join us again.
You educate a girl child.
Live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on visiontv.co.uk, and click on Entertainment, then NTA. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile device to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during, and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message from the National Orientation Agency. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news, or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.